Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow.
But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend.
I think it went something like that.
I'll help you carry on. There's so many versions. There's like a 70s versions, the 80s versions, and then like the Club Nouveau with the 90s version.
What about the Jodeci version? Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Stay tuned for another edition of the Prison World Radio Hour.
Prison World, the Prison World show is coming show. Prison World, radio show. We gon' have some fun. Prison World, the Prison World show is coming show. Prison World, radio show. We gon' have some fun.
We're going to have some fun today. Welcome to all of our global listeners around the world. Welcome to another edition of the Prison World Radio Hour. I am your host, Jenny Triplet, and attached to my hip is my co-host, Ismail.
I'm just being me.
I'm leaning on you. We all need somebody to lean on.
Well, I hope we don't fall over.
Somebody to lean on.
You lean too hard, sometimes you fall.
That is so true. That is so true. But, thankfully, we still standing, dear. We still standing.
Stand on your own.
We are celebrating 8 years. 8 years of broadcasting in a big way. A big way. We have a special 7-night series for you guys about Black Muslimah Activists. But before I get into explaining what all of that is all about, let me just give you guys just a little bit of a background and history about our radio show and why having our own media voice is just very, very important. Now, we recently visited the National African American Museum of History and Culture in Washington, D.C., part of the Smithsonian museums, and it tells all about the press. We're part of the press, and we have always had our own press. We're viewed as an alternative form of media. At least that's what the White House told us, what they said about us. The Obama administration, not this new one, that other stuff. But
alternative what?
We are viewed as an alternative form of media. I still have the email from the White House that they sent us. Yeah.
Well, alternatively, they can...
What?
Huh?
What?
They can be where they at.
See, we provide a specific niche, okay? We set out on this venture to have a certain voice or, one that was not being heard by the mainstream media. And we wanted our own. We wanted this to be our own. We own our show. Everything that you guys seeing about our show, we own it. We could take our show anywhere. It's not Blog Talk. It's never been Blog Talk. Some people get it confused. And we have a few other platforms that we were on that made us realize how strong and powerful our voice is and how strong our show is.
I'm powerful.
Yeah.
I bet you can't lift 1,000 pounds.
Not that type of power. Okay. But people try to use our show, our audience, our platform to their own benefit. You remember we were running on other stations and they kept running their shows or scheduling into our time and making us that they ran one of their shows 45 minutes into our time.
Running ads, running all kinds of stuff.
They were running extra commercials.
Just thought they can treat a brother how they wanted to.
Exactly. In our time slot. It just got to be really crazy. And we were looking at this like, we must be pretty
Hold
powerful.
up, partner.
Our audience is really strong and loyal. So, of course that became a problem. So we had no problem with walking away and taking our show elsewhere.
Stepping.
That is the benefits of ownership and having your own, because you can actually do this. So moving this story forward 8 years, we finally have a place where we can dictate our own space and control everything. The platform that you guys hear us on now is that we could put our shows, we can offer other people shows in this space, and we could do whatever we wanted. Never give someone else that much control over your creative entities. And we are so much about that, about not giving people that type
some
of control.
people about the money. You know, somebody offer them a good 6-figure salary.
Well, we're not about
They'll
that.
give them anything.
But there are benefits to ownership. You know, you can catch our shows currently and in archive all the way back to 2009. We ain't new to the game now. All the way back to 2009 on iTunes, TuneIn, Blurberry, and our blog website, which is prisonworldblogtalk.com. Prisonworldblogtalk.com, not just blogtalk.com. Okay? So the shows that we are actually bringing you this week for the last 10 nights of Ramadan is the special series. And we are able to do this and run the shows consecutively for 7 nights because we can. We can do this, dear. We can. And if
we can not do it too.
Yeah, if you were a part of something else, if we were a part of something else, we would have to wait. You guys would have to come back next week or come back next week or come back next week. But we can actually do this boom, 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 right in a row. So this series on Black Muslimah Activists is bringing a spotlight of awareness, a cause that we do on some Black and brown sisters that are deep in the struggle of the grassroots of activism. And I have to say it that way, deep in the struggle, grassroots, because that means boots on the ground. These are people who are actually moving, okay? So in case you missed it, let me just give you one of the reasons why and what sparked some things was that Essence Magazine did a piece on some women that supposedly stay woke. Hashtag stay woke.
Don't be calling people out.
I'm giving the facts.
Girl.
Nothing but the facts, okay? Either conveniently or just out of ignorance, we were left out of the loop. And we meaning African American Muslim women. Just pretty much left out the loop.
Why are we always trying to jump in somebody's loop?
Not trying to jump in the loop, but we also want to make sure that people know that we're here. Okay? We exist.
Oh, y'all do that.
They had Linda Softsour on there. For those who do not know who she is, she's a Palestinian American-born Muslim woman activist. She was instrumental in organizing the Women's March in Washington, D.C., and yet she does not represent us all. She does not represent us, our story, our imagery, and everything. But see, when mainstream...
We need to quit separating all this stuff now.
Well, see, there's different ways to tell a story. See, when mainstream media publications such as Essence look for representation of us, they pick one person.
I understand. Look, I understand. I'm just saying, but in Islam, it's just Islam. We're Muslim. I don't see all that other stuff.
They paint us with a broad stroke, and that's not the case. That is totally not the case of how we are and how we roll. So, and we don't feel that there's true representation. It's not fair representation. And for those of us who are in the struggle daily, and I do, keep me in the loop saying me for being in the struggle, daily, it's just really not fair. So for the next 7 days, during the last 10 days of Ramadan, last 10 nights, we have 7 sisters, 7 nights, 7 reasons why. These sisters, my sisters, okay, represent a diverse genre of activism.
Some of them interviews went pretty long. This ain't but an hour show now.
Yeah, but and they have to be edited. But it is what it is. So
I ain't editing nothing.
From the community organizer to the filmmaker, they are all so ultra busy that I had a really, really extra hard time trying to make this happen. But alhamdulillah, I did, and I'm glad I did because
should have been like me.
What's that?
Hey, your time is now. Oh, you can't make the call? Moving on.
It turned out to be something much more than I ever possibly could have imagined. Okay. So first up is Latifa Ali. Ali is a common last name amongst African American Muslims.
I'm just kidding, sisters. I wouldn't have never passed y'all by.
Yeah, just like Muhammad Ali. And the busyness and the sense of fighting spirit, same as the champ himself, that she brings is definitely something to hear. So sit back and relax and get ready to Muslimah and chill.
Oh, I thought you were going to say sit back, relax, and bona fide provide.
No.
Bumping in your
Get ready to Muslimah and chilled with us for the next hour. And we hope that you guys can join us for all 7 nights. But if you can't, I mean, it's totally understood. So just catch it and rewind, on iTunes, tune in on our website, and tweet us. Tweet us at Rufus and Jenny and let us know what your thoughts are. Okay? We are 8 years in the game, y'all. The future is bright. Let's get this party started. Hold what you got. We'll be right back.
Greetings. This is Latifa Ali from 313 Productions, and I'm here on Prisonworld Radio with Rufus and Jenny Triplett.
Hi, this is Tamara Mann, and you listen to the Prisonworld Radio Hour.
We taking over. We taking over.
This is normally a segment where we have during our regular radio show time, where we play the Prison World News. And we bring you guys things that have happened during the week in prison news, thus the name Prison World Radio Hour. But because this is our special series, we're going to spend the next 7 days, 7 shows, going to use this time to educate a little bit more about African American Muslims. So let's clear up a myth.
African American Muslim or Muslim women?
Just African American.
Muslim black women.
Just Muslims, period. Just African American Muslims.
I'm just trying to get it clear.
So let's just clear up a myth. Let's just take one. We'll take one a day, and we'll keep the stereotypes away. Hey, how about that? I just made that up.
Oh, you think you rhyming now? Bust the move.
No. Okay.
Bust
because people tend to think certain things about us. So let's just take a little bit of time to clear this up. Let's start with the one about how we don't eat meat. I get a lot of people that say, you guys don't eat meat, right? You don't eat meat?
Sometimes I don't.
Folks who don't eat meat are considered vegetarians. We're not vegetarians. We eat meat.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff in that meat these days.
We eat it. We fry it. We boil it. We broil it. We barbecue it. We saute it.
I don't do too much fried stuff no more either.
It just has to be fried chicken. You gonna eat you some fried chicken?
I ain't eat no fried chicken.
If I fry it up, you gonna eat some fried chicken. If you fried,
I ain't eating no fried chicken.
Okay.
Trying to kill me up in here.
It just has to be halal. So you wanna explain the halal and not all eat halal, because you'll see some people eating some just regular meat. But
what is halal?
Okay, then you explain that.
The crescent of the moon? Oh, not that halal?
That's hilal.
Oh, hilal, that's what I just said.
Hilal, not halal.
Halal,
okay.
Kalal, pilal. But the halal is just, we eat food that the God name was pronounced over. The creator, the one who created all those animals. That's what I do. I eat the food that somebody said blessed his name over the food. I don't just eat any old thing.
Right. And
people just killing animals and picking them up and eating them.
And even if we eat other people's food, like we go to functions and different things like that, we still say Bismillah, which is in the name of God, in the name of Allah.
Yeah, but it's going to be some seafood or something.
Right, but I'm saying, I'm not talking about the regular food.
Oh, because I don't eat all that stuff.
Yeah, but even if we go to a function and someone says, I got you guys some halal meat, we still say.
Just in case.
We still say.
Just in case.
Bismillah. Okay.
It's not all that it seems.
Just because.
No, for real, y'all. I just want to make sure I do my part. That's all.
Right. Okay. So never be afraid to ask the question. Asking to get an understanding is definitely more acceptable and better than ignorance.
But
any day of the week.
I done had somebody say, I said, hey, is that halal? They said, hey, I'm Muslim. I'm like, is that halal?
Right.
I'm just trying to make
you
sure.
didn't answer the question. You answered the question with what you think somebody wanted to hear.
I don't mean no disrespect.
Yeah,
bruh man just trying to look out for bruh man.
You didn't directly answer the question, okay?
Just in case, like I said.
Those folks who are out protesting in regards to Sharia law, needs to ask.
Oh my goodness. What are they talking about?
They need to
What
ask
do they mean Sharia law? They probably don't even know what Sharia law is.
They need to ask a Muslim. They need to ask me.
They hear these names in the news and they run with it.
They need to ask me because I got something for them.
You people are unbelievable. Y'all need to educate yourself and quit running with everything you hear.
Right. Come on over here and ask Sister Jenny because she got something for
Either
you.
you're scared or you ain't. Quit being scared about everything.
Trust and believe.
Trying to scare everybody else. That don't even make no sense. Y'all scary.
All right. Our guest today, Latifa Ali, she's going to be coming up, guys. And, yeah. You got me laughing at that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm laughing at
I got a headache. My head hurt.
Oh, goodness. Oh, what you got, guys? We'll be right back with Sister Latifa.
You're listening to the Prison World Acapella Radio Hour.
All right, we are back. And just like I said, in the spirit of spotlighting Black Muslimas, or Muslimas, however you want to say it, we are kicking it off this series with the busybody. Okay, see, now when people say, I'm busy, this woman here, this sister, y'all don't know busy until y'all see her. I think she's busy as me, or maybe even busier than me. This sister is a producer, director, and host of many events, one in which we were specially invited guests, the Wedding Experience. She's also a community economic builder and activist coming from that great community of Roxbury. You guys know the one with New Edition is from. A former and probably still present government liaison, since she's so busy and active and I'm not exactly sure how she finds the time for it. She's also the host of her own radio show, Music and More, on American Muslim 360, and an active Facebook friend. Like, she really got time for Facebook, okay? So I'm not talking about the Queen Latifa. I'm talking about Latifa Ali. Assalamu alaikum, sis. How are you?
Walaikum assalam.
Well, she is a queen.
With the last part. I'm the queen. Just joking.
Don't be taking her queenness away from her.
Well, look. I'm not talking about that.
My twice.
Yeah, I understand that, but we're talking about a queendomship in a different type of way. Okay, so not that queen. We all have to have our own lane, and in that lane, that's what we maintain. So tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and some things that I left off of the resume.
Well, definitely tried to clean up the resume, both mentally and physically, focusing on some new priorities. 313 Productions is my new endeavor for film work, and also Healthy Images, which is working with my body work as well as my imagery work, getting the right messages out about people who do great things. So those are the new focus and endeavor. I haven't been working as an official liaison for some time, though. People call me up when things are stuck in the system. And the Music and More show on American Muslim 360, we put on sabbatical. Well, actually, we closed it down. But what I did do is to develop a relationship with American Muslim 360, where I do special hosting for shows every once in a blue moon when it's the right fit. And so the last show we were able to do just last month really was on former Congresswoman Cynthia McKinney, which was so very cool. So that's where we are right now. And of course, being married to Wally Ali, who does a million and a billion things himself, is my daily workout.
Your daily workout.
Hey, that is a workout now.
What, being married?
Girl, please.
Well, yeah, you give me a workout every day,
You
too.
think not?
So
I be trying to give you a workout.
Nah, I don't think so. You give me a workout, though. Okay. So I'm trying to spotlight activism, because I think activism has gotten this 21st century meaning that is blown kind of out of proportion, and just reeling it all back into really what activism is all about. So what does activism mean to you?
I mean, I think activism is claiming your humanity. There's no way you can be in a world that's moving and not be active with helping to resolve and create the world that you want to see. So I think it's just everybody's human right. I don't really think of myself as an activist per se. I'm certainly an actioneer, certainly doing things to make sure that the environment that my children grew up in is better than it was even when I inherited it, and hopefully they'll do the same. But as an activist, I don't wake up and clock into that because, you don't really get paid from that. But you are always aware. You are always, what I try to do is always have my takwa out, always listening, learning, and resolving things in your environment when given that charge.
Well, some activists get paid now. Some of these folks they making bank.
I used to have some activator.
I ain't say activator. I said activist. Okay,
hey, I had the good activator.
They're supposed to making bank, which brings me to the point of everybody is not active and concerned about the community as they are about being seen, being known, and getting paid. A lot of these folks are charlatans out here that say they have a concern, but it's only because the bottom line, the bottom dollar, agrees with them. And I really want to focus on the people who are active and moving off of Facebook and actually moving in their communities and doing something.
Well, if they're looking for money, they ain't really that active, huh?
A lot of people.
I think there's a balance. I think you can have both worlds. I mean, it's interesting because somebody connected with me. They were really excited about some of my ideas, and they wanted to connect with me. And if I listened to everything that they said, although I was in awe of their work, I would have been doing free work and labor for them, as a good idea for humanity. And then as a result of it, I would have been working a job that I didn't like and spending time away from my kids. Okay, so there has to be a balance. For me, as a Muslimah activist, so to speak, part of my balance is figuring out, who needs to pay me and who doesn't. It's kind of like that Robin Hood, taking from the richer and giving to the richest, which is those people who, do the work in the field but necessarily don't reap all of the benefits of somebody who's brokering a major deal. So what I do is, I look at and I gauge where people are. And if I feel that they're giving to the level in which they can give, both fiscally for my time, as well as valuing my time, then I'll invest in them. Some people I'll invest in to the point where they pay me nothing. And others I want them to pay because I don't value the relationship. So I just have to find a balance. And honestly, the biggest pay I get is in hasana, which is blessing. I believe in that currency is the only one that continues to accrue while other things diminish over time.
That is a very good logic, and I'm glad you explained it that way.
I sure hope she value me.
Why she got to value? I can't value you. I value you.
You better value me.
I value you every day.
Well, where my stuff at?
Well, did she just say you don't get paid for some stuff?
I want to get paid though.
Okay, I think you do get paid. You get paid. So tell us about the struggles of the trifecta. And we talk about this trifecta. I've talked about this trifecta. A couple other Muslimah sisters I'm bringing on here talks about this trifecta. Black, Muslim, female. Do you put it in that order? Do you not put it in that order? How do you conquer it? How do you deal with it? Go.
I'm Muslim first in that order. My goal is, let me backtrack. I'm believer first. That's what I work towards. Muslim for me is someone who practices a ritual that exudes a certain behavior. And that's all good and well. And those behaviors are the ones that I subscribe to. However, those behaviors lead to an attainment of a self. And that attainment of the self is what I work for every single day in the things that I do. So I'm believing first, and then God has blessed me to be a woman, and as a woman, I have the vantage point to be in a number of different circumstances that have expressive realms. So I'm always on my toes about making the world right and even as just, the default plan. And then as an African American, it's almost like I've been given the sword of Bilal. It's like, the coolest people on the planet are black to me. Mm-hmm. And they are to be the promised people. They've been tested and tried the best. And so I feel like, you might look at me, it was interesting. I went to a college, Hebrew college, and they invited some students over from Israel. And one of the young women had the audacity, I was on the panel, to ask me, why would you pick Islam and be black? Because from her vantage point, it was like being a slave and then enslaving myself to something that did not give me rights. And I had to sit there and first of all bite my fingers off, not to act like I wasn't a panelist and take off my gloves.
Yeah.
But I had to internalize what, she had as a worldview and then also think inward about what that really meant. And for me, it was so empowering because Islam is the very thing that freed and took the foot off the neck of the African American in particular.
So what do you think people see first about you? When you walk into a room, what do people see first?
I think they see my fierceness first. They see me as a spiritual being, meaning that when I come in, I don't think they see my color per se. I don't even think they see my femininity. Those things allow me to walk in a modest fashion of non-threat. But once I open up my mouth, people start to posture. And they posture because they realize that I'm going to hold them to the truth no matter what. I might do it politely and civil, but it will be done. So in my name, Latifa Muhammad Turner, what I got from that was that my parents were inspired to name me Latifa, which is subtle and kind, which means you have to also be aware. And then Turner being one who changes things, just organically. And then my middle name, Muhammad, is something that I always was resentful of as a youth because I thought it was a boy's name. But it actually has anchored me in my spirit of what I want to continually become, which is that walking Quran. So that is so significant when I walk into a room. I think people know I'm going to be fair, I'm going to be fierce, and I'm going to be, looking for the facts so that I can make things equitable for everybody.
Okay. All right. Well, we are having a great discussion here. We're going to take a little bit of a break, but I have so much more to get into and to ask the sisters. So you guys hold what you got. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Kim Whitley, and you are listening to the Prison World Acapella Radio Hour.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in gym, I learned that I'm pathetic and a joke. The only thing I didn't learn in school today is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
All right, we are back. We are back with Latifa Ali, and she is putting it down as the Muslim Black female African American and enlightening our audience. So let's get right back into it because I have several other things that I do want to ask her. Now, Ms. Latifa,
I got a question too.
What you got?
What kind of curl activator did you use?
Stop it. Ain't nobody talking about no curl activator.
I was talking about activator.
No, activism.
No, I was talking about activism.
See, people getting it twisted just like you. Activism, okay? Activism. Activate. All right. Why do you think our voice, the African American Muslim voice and the African American Muslim female voice, is constantly being left out of the narrative?
I mean, I think people go with what they are comfortable with, and the narratives that have been made about Islam have been male voices that have constructed a world of reason that has benefited them as the primary agent. And so a female at the table is only going to be there like any other group unless she fights to be there, to be honest. It's not going to be, power never receives anything but power. There has to be somebody who's upset enough, annoyed enough to come out and speak the talk that people are thinking. And when that happens, the people will rise up and order will be done. So I think that's why we just need our own sense of resurrection.
So do you feel it has to be prominent Muslims? There's this thing that goes around that if you're prominent or well-known, you're the go-to. People are always calling on you. But what about the people who have knowledge and spirit and everything else, but they're not as prominent?
Well, I think we can learn. I live by the Quran. I live by those messages. I think of them as daily messages, not things of the past. They are the future, right? So when you look at an example like King Tarut, and in the Quran, he was somebody who the people did not acknowledge as somebody who had the kinds of accolades that they wanted on the forefront of their leadership. But he was chosen by God to be in that position. So, no, I don't think it's ever been a time in the history of our prophet landscape that anyone but God has chosen the folks that are on the forefront of, real messages that helps people. And I think oftentimes it comes from those sheep herder type folks, those people in the field who are feeling the pain of the circumstance, who respond. Now, I think there are allies across the train tracks. I think there are people like the Asias of the world who hear what's going on, haven't had the political landscape to make things right yet. And when they hear it, they do their due job with wealth and resource to make it work. But it is more likely to come from the bottom up than it is from the top down.
Okay. Now, how has Malcolm X's legacy helped or failed the Black Muslim community? And I'm going off of, we recently visited the African American Museum of History and Culture in D.C. And it is full. It is rich. It is rich of us and our history and different things. And Malcolm X was definitely very prominent, as well as some other Black activists and leaders. But everybody had their time.
Public Enemy was an activist.
Public Enemy was an activist in their own way, but I'm saying everybody had their time and their genre of
fight the powers that be.
Their genre of activism, but Malcolm kind of just circumvented all of it. He was just all over everything, and he's left a legacy. How do you feel that has helped, and how do you feel that we are failing with it?
Well, I think God picks the people who kind of remain in our hearts as inspiration. I mean, like your husband had just talked about the folks that touch him. A lot of people are inspired by people like Tupac. Now, if you hung out with someone like him on a daily basis, you might think that, he wasn't as inspirational as a human. He did some of the same things that we all do. But then there was those moments, those pinnacles of greatness that shine through. I think the same thing of Malcolm. I think when we make our leaders into icons, we kill them. They become idols for us. So I think that it's happened to many people. I think that, people have said a few things, and if you line up 10 people in a row, they can probably tell you one or two of them. And then the rest of it is just an idea of their greatness. I think the same thing has happened with Malcolm. I'm excited that someone in our time frame could be relished in some way, particularly coming from that African-American Muslim experience. However, I would be more inspired that people look to Malcolm's life to see what inspired him, which is the religion of Al-Islam, in a space where he was not being honored as a man. And I think that is really what you should take from Malcolm. How do I become the steward of this planet myself? From the example of someone like Malcolm X.
Now, as Black Muslim females, how important is it for us, to take the reins of leadership because women have always been a part of history in some type of way, and we're losing that. We're losing that in this generation and in these times. So how important is that for us?
I mean, I feel like the essence of human beings is like water. When it drips, it's going to rip through a rock. You know, I don't think you can ever stop it. I think if you try to muzzle it, it becomes a geyser. You know, so I don't think women can ever be totally subdued. I think that is the lesson in the Quran where it talks about the baby girl will come back and ask why she's buried. She will inevitably come back and ask why these efforts were made to muzzle her voice in the public sphere and her rights. However, she is Eve. When she recognizes her highest spiritual self, she is unstoppable. And she has been. All of these examples of Muslim women in the Quran, from Asiya, who I mentioned earlier, to Khadija, the wife of the Prophet, to Aisha, to Fatima, to Maryam, they are strong models of what a human being can be in all kinds of circumstances. And so I think we need to redefine what leadership looks like in a Muslimah, because all of those women raised children, and those children became the future. So,
Okay.
you know, they talk about the hand that rocks the cradle, you know, the one who owns the world.
You just said
we are the leaders.
You just said a mouthful with that.
Yeah, but when you say that, you know, I mean, you can't look at a woman. I mean, even if it seems like you're not there, you're always there. We can always go back to any leader or male who's doing his thing. There's some strong woman there, whether it's his mother, his wife, his sister, or just another strong woman that's by his side. Well, I mean,
there's a whole network.
You're always there
to support him.
Yeah, right. But I'm saying this in the fact of where there's a lot of these conferences and leaderships and think tanks, and a lot of times we are left out of the voice. We are left.
Well, we have to protest these things. We have to do it with our feet in our hands. So what I mean by that is, you know, when I see a male-only advertised event, I clearly put up on the thread that I'm boycotting the event. I'm not coming.
Okay.
You know, and until you want my membership to be there, or you don't want my vocal voice to be there from film and from radio, you will then figure out a way to have someone there, and they will be more than a figurehead.
Right.
I agree in a sense, because we have to remember that God created us as far as man and wife. So that respect has always got to be there for the women. So if it's a disrespect concerning women speakers or women coming out, we all should protest.
Well, I think it's powerful in the Quran how it's identified as the baby girl will ask for what crime she was buried, right? It's not her father, it's not her brother, it's not her uncle, it's not her husband. It is her who is asking that question. Maybe those people are behind her in terms of giving her some level of support for that platform. However, they're not mentioned. They are the silent in that.
I heard
We
that.
have to know about the leader.
Okay. So what would you most like to be remembered for?
You know, I wrote a eulogy when I was in the 5th grade, and I think it's still what applies to me best. It said, in this grave lies Latifa Turner, a well-respected engineer. All her friends that knew her well left her grave in tears. She achieved the Nobel Prize by inventing a laser that helps society rise. Her achievement won't be forgotten, even when her body is rotten. For people will open up their history books and see Newton, Mandela, and my daughter told me Mandela, and P4T.
That you wrote that in the 5th grade?
I wrote that in the 5th grade in Claremont Mohammed School. They asked us to write our eulogy of what the people would say about us when we die. And what I figured out about that is I wasn't supposed to be, per se, a physicist engineer. I was supposed to be a social capital engineer.
Okay.
And that the laser rising wasn't necessarily a physical device made, but more or less pinpointing those very important things that help us rise as a community. And I stick to that.
I got you. Okay. Well, we definitely appreciate you being here. And why don't you tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you?
You can look us up on Facebook at 3131 Productions or Healthy Images. We're going to be all around you doing some really fun stuff, including Images 2. If you remember, Images 1 came out with Wally Ali a few years ago. We're working on Images 2. So look for all of those things, and I look forward to hearing back from each and every one of you guys.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah,
really
fight
wish
the power.
I really wish we had more time. We could definitely go into this conversation a little bit more, but we will be bringing you more Black Muslimah activists and spotlighting this series. So we hope you guys stay tuned and listen to each and every show and see what we have to say and how our voice is so important. Thanks so much. Hold what you got. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Prison World Acapella Radio Hour.
Check out the latest books from Freebird Publishers for your incarcerated loved one.
Food for thought. Food for thought.
Food for thought. Okay, I almost got that. I thought it might have been a little bit flat, but food for thought. Okay,
Is this a singing show?
Somewhat. It's
I
acapella.
don't see it.
It's acapella.
Yeah, you better remind people this is acapella up in here.
Some days I do good. Some days I'm so
Jokers
good.
might be doing a good job what they doing, but it is acapella.
In the food for thought for today, since we are going to be doing the shows on Black Muslimah Activists, I asked all of our guests to give me a quote on activism. And I'm going to use what they said in our reflection on our food for thought. So our guest today, Latifa Ali,
And I quote.
said, and I quote,
Quote it then.
okay, if I don't rise to the call, then God will simply do it without me, and I'll be the only one that misses out. Yup. That don't even have to be deep.
I guess she told somebody.
That's just real. You know, God is going to do what God going to do.
And it's going to happen with or without you.
Exactly. And he's
Best
not,
believe that.
And he's not going to change our conditions until we change it for ourselves. So in other words, you need to move your feet.
You need to change your way of thinking.
You need to shuffle on, Buffalo Soldier.
Think, thought.
Buffalo Soldier. Okay.
Bing, bong, boom.
Yep. Stop it.
Something.
Move your feet, peeps, okay? That's it for the food for thought for today. If you would like to chime in on anything that you guys have heard here, follow us on Twitter. Tweet us. Tweet at Rufus and Jenny. We'd like to hear
I thought you was
about
going to do the tweedly
what you guys have to say. And just before we go, I do have a few announcements. First off,
Announcements? What are we at, the masjid?
Yeah, we could be.
What in
the virtual one. Everything that you hear here is a cappella. I know you probably bumping your head and bouncing and everything
I hope
else.
not.
But everything that you hear here is a cappella,
Don't hurt yourself.
a cappella. Okay, if you'd like to submit something, submit it to prisonworldradio@gmail.com. That's prisonworldradio@gmail.com.
That is if you could sing. Don't just be submitting anything up in here now.
You had to put the disclaimer on there. Okay.
I'm just trying to say.
Check out our TV show Lifestyles with Rufus and Jenny. Season 2, it's still coming, guys. It's in the works. It's still coming. But season 1 is available on Amazon, and you can also find our YouTube channel at Rufus and Jenny. Check out some behind the scenes. And episode 1 is out there on YouTube now for you guys to check out. Freebird Publishers, check them out now for your incarcerated loved ones. They publish lots of books for inmates, and they also publish books by inmates. So if you want to get published, if you have an incarcerated loved one that has a book that wants to get published, check them out. Freebird Publishers. You can find them at freebirdpublishers.com. Prison World Magazine, our baby, our parallel to the Prison World Radio Hour.
I ain't got no babies no more.
Prison World Magazine. You can go to prisonworldmagazine.com and get single issues, or you can go to Amazon. It is on Amazon. It is the #1 bestseller on Amazon, and get a yearly subscription for your incarcerated loved one. Books. We have lots of books. We have a new book coming out. Let's start with the old book, okay? Surviving Marriage in the 21st Century, still out there on Amazon. You can find it there. Our Jobs for Felons book, Volume 1. We've got another one coming out next month, inshallah. For those people with a criminal record, you need resources. We got you, okay? It's all right there for you. And we also have a book coming out, Surviving Business in the 21st Century. Hopefully that will be out in October, depending on our schedule, right, dear? Depending on our schedule, that'll be out in October.
We sometimes buy black.
Okay, good. For advertising and sponsorships available for the show, you can send inquiries to
You be at Walmart. You gonna be buying black at Walmart.
prisonworldradio@gmail.com. That's prisonworldradio@gmail.com. Are you trying to tell us somebody? Are you trying to tell us somebody?
Them people who don't be buying black at Walmart.
Itty hoo hoo hoo.
Kroger.
Okay. Remember, you can stay connected via social media, or what I like to call the Big Six. You can find us on Facebook at Rufus and Jenny, Twitter at Rufus and Jenny, IG at Triplet World, YouTube at Rufus and Jenny TV, Pinterest at Rufus and Jenny, and LinkedIn. You can find me, Jenny Triplet. What?
Why they gotta find you?
Because I'm on LinkedIn.
We individuals now?
On LinkedIn, we are.
Well, I'm about to be an individual too.
And do what?
I'm gonna do something.
Be sure you answer your messages, because you know
I
that'll
just
be a
want
ghost
these
town.
people to understand that it's okay to buy at Walmart and Kroger and all that other stuff. We just saying don't forget about we buy black too now.
Okay, and also the live stream.
Sharif, I got you, man.
The live stream to the radio show, the Prison World Radio. You can go to our website, prisonworldradiohour.com. Click on the live stream link and listen 24/7. We got you.
Some people ain't got data though.
Just show. Well, you know what? We got them too.
Oh, we got a number on there?
We got a call-in number. You can call in and listen. Just call in at 701. If you got more minutes than you got data, call in and listen at 701-719-5174. And you could just let the phone play. You could put it on your Bluetooth speaker. You
That
can
way,
Bluetooth it in the car.
You ain't got to run out when your minutes run out.
Right. You don't have to be, oppressed with that data plan.
We tried.
You could do that. And you can find our archives also at iTunes and TuneIn. For those with the Wi-Fi and you want to hit that app, you can find us on iTunes and TuneIn. Okay? All right. I think that's kind of it, dear.
What? We should be out of here then. Why are we still on the mic?
We'd like to thank all of our global listeners around the world and our special guest, Latifa Ali. Be sure to catch us tomorrow for the next episode within our Black Muslimah Activists series. You ready to ride, dear? You ready to ride?
I'm already gone.
I am your host, Jenny Triplet, and attached to my hip is my co-host, Ismail.
The man with the plan.
So to speak.
The man with the plan.
God is one, and we leave you in peace. DJ, take us home.
We sure do.
I'm back on the street. I'm a real OG. I'm back on the street. I'm making money. Growing up on the streets, I wanted to make a change. Now I have a family and baby. I can't find a job to pay me more than minimum wage. That's no way to make a living. In the middle of the night, I see my homie.